Hi all, this is Once a Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time we did Pokemon Black with a single Beedrill, a challenge that became absolutely brutal at the end and means I never want to see Gen 5 again. Well, at least for a couple of weeks anyway. This time though, I want to try something different. I want to see if I can beat Pokemon Pearl with a single Ponyta. Now about Ponyta, there's a common perception about it that, as it's one of the only two fire types available pre-national decks in Diamond and Pearl, that it's a weakling. I certainly thought it'd be pretty weak. Compared to the other one, Infernape, it might well be. That's pretty fair. And then I saw its base stat total, and it's on a par with the frigging second stage pseudo legendary. 410 base stat total is the same as Draclo, Gabite and Pupitar, as well as Fracture and Sudowoodo and Celio. Mind you, it's also the same as Azumarill, Bibarel, Corsola and Magcargo, so maybe not the best comparison. We're pretty squishy, 50 in HP, 55 in defence and 65 in special defence. 65 in special attack is nothing great, but 85 in regular is pretty handy, while the 90 speed will be useful. We can hit hard and we can hit first, but one bad blow and this horse will end up in the glue factory. As to the move pool, I've gone with Pearl rather than Platinum to try and make things harder. It's going to be tougher using Ember rather than Flame Wheel. Nothing really stands out on the learn list. Flame Wheel probably was the best option. Bounce is inaccurate and has low PP. Flare Blitz has recoil damage. Takedown has both of those drawbacks. Fire Spin is inaccurate. Stomp is decent, I might get some flinch luck from it. What about the TMs? Well, not much coverage there. Most of the attacking moves are fire or normal, which I can learn naturally. I can get Iron Tail and Solar Beam, so that might be options for coverage. I might have to combine Sunny Day with Solar Beam for some of the later fights. The rules then, in combat I can only use Ponyta. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs, but they can't fight, and this is friggin' Sinnoh, so I am going to need HMs coming out the wazoo. In battle I can't use any items beyond Pokeballs and held items. Last of all, no glitches or exploits beyond using the UPR to give myself Ponyta from the start. Do I think I can do this? I think the Elite Four and Cynthia will be horrible if I'm honest. There's very little coverage and nothing that really benefits our prominent attack stat to deal super effective damage against water and particularly rock types. Start of the game might be rough versus Rock too, but I can work around that. I reckon we'll be able to brute force him given long enough. Drop your guesses in the comments and take a stab if you think I can do this or not. The Elite Four and the Champion have higher levels in Pearl than in Platinum, and well, some team choices are harder. Cynthia having Gastrodon rather than Togekiss springs to mind. I think I made the best decision here. Let's get this show on the road then, and as always, if you do enjoy what you see, then don't forget to like, comment and subscribe the heck out of my channel. We go through the start of the game and get our Fire Horse. The ability is Flash Fire, and so that's potentially circumstantial. I'd rather have the hidden ability Flame Body, but that's a gen too early, so given the other option was Run Away, I'll take it. Our nature is gentle, so more special defence and less defence. Meh, there's two ways of looking at that. We were going to be squishy anyway, so our prominent defence stat has been buffed. I choose to replace Chimchar so that our rival, Rod, has Empoleon, which is potentially the one most capable of messing us up. I always figure that there's three types of people when it comes to naming pets. There are those who name them after the attributes of the critter, like naming a dog Spot or something like that. There are those who go down the mythological route, like naming a horse Pegasus. Or there are people who name their pets with human names. With that in mind, and it's sort of how this challenge came about, I was thinking of this random comment. Meet Steve the Ponyta. I was really thinking about names and nearly went for Steed, but yeah, this is better. Or at least that was the plan, until the Ponyta turned out to be female. Ah, that didn't go to plan. So, instead I chose to nickname her Mary, because what do you call a female horse? A mare. Heh. I do a bit of EV training, focusing on Starlies for speed and Shinx for attack. I even caught a shiny Shinx between Sandgem and Jubilife. Well, how about that? A gold-coloured Shinx does look sick. Shame I can't use it. Well, I do for HMs anyway, but that's by the by. Maybe an idea for a challenge. I grind upon Starly and Shinx on Route 202 until level 15, and then I go after the rival just outside Jubilife. I think by this point in Gen 5 you already had 5 rival fights, so this is a nice change of pace. Starly goes down to 2 tackle attacks, landing a pair of retaliatory quick attacks. Piplup, on the other hand, chooses the brave and bold strategy of only using Growl to attack. We knock it out with a trio of tackles. I could really do with a better move than tackle for the first gym. I get Ember at level 16, which is going to be resisted, but at least it's special rather than physical, and should do some decent damage to Onix and Geodude. Too bad we've not been training that special attack. Stomp at level 19 might be a better option. We'll probably do minimal damage, but at least we'll outspeed, and if we can flinch them over and over, then at least my little fire pony isn't going to get crushed by a boulder. Too bad real world logic isn't a thing, because one of Ponyta's Pokedex entries claims that its hooves are harder than diamond. turned, so using Stomp on a rock would probably shatter it into dust. Ah well, we can dream. I'll go after Rock at level 18, just to see how we do. Not well is the answer. We don't deal a lot of damage with Ember. It takes 2 to put Geodude on red health, at which point it's wiped out nearly half of our health with a rock throw attack, before Rock then heals it with a potion. 2 more Embers take it out. Onyx comes out and takes an Ember before landing Screech. Oh dear. Although I land 2 more Ember attacks, it takes Mary down with 2 rock throws. If Onyx hadn't messed us up there, Craniados would have done for sure. Guess I need more power then. Let's grind. I get to level 19 and then a brainwave hits me. It has been known to happen. I got the hidden power TM in Jubilife. I test it out on a wild Geodude and it's super effective against the rock/ground type. So that's something. We'll try it this way then. Round 2 versus Rock. If the first attempt was terrible, the rematch is smooth sailing. Geodude gets 1 hit with hidden power. Onyx comes out and I use hidden power, knocking out with a 1-hit wonder. Craniados actually survives on red health and uses Pursuit, making me wonder if it's water or grass type hidden power, but as Rock uses a potion, the second hidden power folds it like a lawn chair. 1 badge down. I test hidden power out later and discover it's probably grass type, given its super effectiveness against rock types and not very effective status against a Starly. I might have to keep this for the full run now. It might be more useful than tracking down the TMs for Solar Beam and Sunny Day. It covers 3 of our weaknesses in water, rock and ground, so yeah, handy dandy. Let's keep on moving. Next is the fight at the Valley Windworks against Commander Mars, and this wasn't too bad. I had problems with this on my previous challenge when I beat Pearl with a single Glameow. Zubat lands on red health from Stomp and tries Leech Life, which does little damage to Mary, before being finished off with Ember. Pyroggly gets hit with Stomp before countering with Feint Attack. The 2 of them exchange blows. The Fat Cat even tries healing with a Berry, before Mary eventually takes it down with Stomp. Now, it's Gardenia time, and really, there shouldn't be too much of an issue. In theory, anyway. Fire type, plus nearly at level 30 against a grass type trainer who is a lot lower level than us. In theory, I'll repeat. Cherubi survives Ember but throws up Safeguard. Gardenia heals it, but the second Ember knocks it out. Damage range, I guess. Turtwig, I use Stomp on and it goes to withdraw before once again she heals it up. 2 Embers put it down. Last is Roserade, and this is potentially the most dangerous one. Ember does slightly under 2/3 of its health in damage before it eats a berry and strikes back with Magical Leave. It does very little damage, and a crit Ember takes it down. Before we can leave the city, there's the Jupiter fight in the Galactic Building, and I'd like to say this was a fight of finesse with moves of sheer artistry, but in truth, I just stomped the Zubat once and it went down, and I proceeded to spam Stomp on the Skunk Tank too. It countered with Smokescreen, and I was worried for a moment, especially as it survived the second Stomp on red health and ate a berry. However, the second Stomp flinched it, and the third took it down. Arriving in Hearthome City, we can't challenge the gym just yet, but our rival appears, so there is a fight about to break out. Mary has our new Shell Bell on her for health recovery. A good idea given her ability to dish out hits but not take them. Starly lands Quick Attack but goes down to Stomp, so that didn't last long. Up next is Primplup, so I blast it in the beak with Grass type hidden power, though it narrowly survives and uses Growl. Finish it off with Stomp. Rod's own little fire horse is next, and I quickly stomp on it, though it survives and uses a growl. Interesting tactic. A second stomp proves my horse is superior. Last is Roselia. It survives Ember and counters with Poison Sting, but a second Ember defeats it. For Gym 3, fighting type trainer Mylene, I have a feeling that how we do will depend on how we handle Machoke. If it starts hammering us with Rock Tomb attacks, I think we might be in trouble. Super effective physical damage that will wreck our speed won't be a good combination. Anyway, it's a closer fight than I figured it would be. Meditite comes out and goes down to an Ember and a Stomp, countering with Drain Punch, a move that I became intimately familiar with on my Pokemon Black with a single Mean Foo run. Machoke comes out next and I hit it with Stomp while it goes for Foresight. Next, I land another Stomp, which narrowly just misses out on knocking it out. It flinches and she heals it. I go for an Ember, see it does more damage than Stomp did, and go for a second one. Machoke survives on red health, but it does get burned. It then lamps Mary with a Brick Break that takes out nearly half her health, even while burned. Said burn does finish it off. Last is Lucario. I hit it hard with Ember and it heals with the berry before paralysing my Fire Horse with Force Palm. With Mary weak, it chooses to go for Metal Claw rather than Force Palm or Bone Rush, and Mary survives on 18 HP before finishing it with another Ember. Mind you, if I thought this one was bad, the next one will be worse. That worst one will be Crasher Wake, the masked man himself, and we've got to take on a water-type specialist with our little Fire Horse. I figure Gyarados might be the problem here, and it's probably not going to be the only time that we do have that issue. In all honesty, things could be a lot worse. Gyarados intimidates Mary and I proceed to lay into it with stomp attacks, managing to flinch it a few times. Weight does heal it, but eventually the only attack it lands is a weak brine attack. A special attack from a Gyarados against a specially defensive Pokemon at full health, I can live with that. Quagsire is easy peasy, it goes down to a single hidden power. Water and Ground is a good type combination for a fire type, you'd think, unless that fire type has a grass move. Last is Floatzel. The first hidden power nearly breaks it. It counters with Ice Fang, a baffling choice of move. Eating a berry and getting sprayed with a super potion isn't enough to save it as it gets taken down by hidden power. 4 badges down. That should be the last of the really tough gyms, or at least I figure that's the case. I'll probably be proven wrong. Before we leave Pastoria City, Rod shows up again for a fight, and I oblige. Starly goes down to Stomp before Prinplup comes out next. It narrowly survives Hidden Power and counters with a Bubble Beam that inflicts decent damage before going down to Stomp. Stomp also takes out Rod's own Ponyta, and Roselia goes down to Ember. Back to Hearthome City then, and it's time for a fight with Fantina. Ghost attacks could be interesting for me to deal with. Interesting to note, I have learned Flare Blitz in the interim, replacing Tail Whip with the new move. I'll keep Ember for the time being, because I need to be careful with this move. Versus Fantina's Drifblim, that realisation is emphasised, as I one-hit Drifblim with Flare Blitz, and the combination of Recoil and Aftermath nearly wipes out 2/3 of my health. I get some back from the Shell Bell at least. Gengar gets one hit by Flare Blitz, more recoil damage, more Shell Bell recovery. Last is Mismagius, and I gamble on Flare Blitz again. I one hit KO it and land on 15 HP. Whew. 5 badges down. Guess we'll make tracks to Canalave City then. When we get there, our rival wants another piece of us. His Starly is evolved into Staravia, and with that comes the Intimidate ability, lowering our attack. It survives Stomp and lands an Aerial Ace and a Quick Attack before we take it out with Ember. Next is Prinplup, who takes a hidden power and then counters with Metal Claw. Why he might have thought that was the best move rather than something to snuff out our flames, I don't know, but it does minimal damage. Another hidden power finishes it off. Ponyta survives the first stomp and misses Fire Spin, which actually doesn't help because my ability would have kicked in if it had landed, but a second stomp finishes it. Heracross is a single hit with Flare Blitz. I don't want to take chances with it, and Roselia goes down the same way. I've got plenty of health left and take them down without mercy. That's Rod done again. I might need a stronger normal move than Stomp going forward. It might soon be time for Return, but it's not going to help in the upcoming Steel Gym and the match with Byron. As a Steel type trainer, you might think this easy, but given one of his 3 Pokemon is part ground and another is part rock, we'll see. I use Ember on Bronzor and it survives, countering with Extra Sensory. It does minimal damage and a second Ember melts it into slag. Next is Steelix, and having tested it on the ones that the trainers have in the gym, Ember isn't going to one-hit it, so I go for Flare Blitz and knock it out cold. Well, hot, anyway. Finally is Bastiodon, and I go straight for Flare Blitz and take out 3/4 of its health, while it counters with Flash Cannon. A second Flare Blitz removes it from the equation. That's our 6th badge, and we're nearly there. Now, we have story stuff, as we have Team Galactic fights. First at Lake Valor, we have to fight Commander Saturn. First, he goes for Kadabra, and an age-old universal truth is proven once again. No matter how powerful the mind might be, it is easily overcome by a hoof to the head. Mary lands a stomp on it and knocks it out in one hit. Toxicroak could be dangerous. I go for Flare Blitz and one hit it. Bronzor comes out last. I don't want to take chances with Ember. I go for Flare Blitz again and it goes down. We have to head to Lake Verity for the next fight, and we're back where we started the game. It's another fight with Commander Mars. That said though, we come a cropper in this fight. Golbat gets taken down with Flare Blitz. Bronzor goes down the same way. And when Pure Ugly comes out, I land a Flare Blitz on it, but it survives and eats a berry before countering with Hypnosis. With Mary asleep and unable to fight back, Pure Ugly takes her down with a feint attack and a crit slash. So, that was unfortunate. I guess we'll go again. I replace Stomp with Return. The flinch chance is nice, but given it's nearly twice the power potentially, I can't really put it off for any longer. The enemies are only growing more powerful. When it comes to the rematch with Mars, Golbat survives Return and lands Air Cutter before being finished off with Ember. Bronzor goes down to Flare Blitz, and last is Pure Ugly again. The fight starts in similar fashion as before. I go for Flare Blitz and she uses Hypnosis. The difference this time is that Flare Blitz burns Pure Ugly, and even as Mary falls asleep and the fat cat eats a berry, it's getting weaker. Pure Ugly lands Feint Attack and Slash attacks on the sleeping Mary, but with the burn crippling its attack, it doesn't do much good. Eventually, the burn damage takes it down, and we've beaten her in a very attritional fight. That was harder than it had a right to be. In Snowpoint City, we face off against Ice Trainer Candice. How hard can this one be, really? Well, Snova goes down to Ember, and a Bomber Snow comes out next for some reason. My nerve goes, and rather than trying to knock it out with Ember, I go for Flare Blitz and one-hit it. Sneasel is a one-hit with Return, and last is that well-known Ice type, Medicham. It gets one hit with Flare Blitz, and just like that, the 7th badge is ours. More story now before we can tackle the last gym. We have a fight with Cyrus, who starts with Murkrow, and it goes down to Return. Next, he unleashes a Golbat, who survives Return and uses Supersonic, which lands successfully. Before I can finish it with Ember, he uses a Super Potion. Mary fights through the confusion and lands Ember, but it doesn't do much good, before she shakes off confusion and finishes it with another Return. Last is Sneasel, who goes down to Flare Blitz. There's another fight with Saturn before we can head to Mount Coronet. Kadabra gets struck out with Return, while Bronzor goes down to Flare Blitz. The same move takes Toxicroak out of the equation as well. We've probably got the most annoying bit of the entire game upcoming now, Mount Coronet. That infamous double battle is first with Jupiter and Mars, and I can't put into words just how much I hate this fight. They start off with a pair of Bronzor, and I manage to land Embers on them, only getting really hit by Rock Slide as they target Rod's Munchlax. Skuntank is one hit with Flare Blitz. Pure Ugly gets knocked out by Flare Blitz and Return, even as Mary gets confused. Mary even knocks out one of the Golbat with 2 Return attacks, but alas, we're too low health to safely use Flare Blitz, and the last one takes us out with Poison Fang. Second attempt, I turn it into a 2-on-1, taking out Jupiter's Bronzor, Skuntank and Golbat, but Mars's Bronzor confuses me. Mary hits herself twice in confusion, and that's another attempt down. Third attempt, I go after Mars's side first, Flare Blitzing the Bronzor and taking down Pure Ugly with a crit Return. Golbat goes down to a Flare Blitz. I start embering Jupiter's Bronzor to get some health back, but it throws up a Reflect before I take it down. Skuntank survives Flare Blitz, I ember it and finish it with another Flare Blitz, all while it murders Rod's Munchlax with Poison Jab. I'd happily stand behind that thing all day and let it take hits. Eventually, it goes down, Rod brings his own Ponyta out, and its Fire Blast triggers our Flash Fire ability. We take out the last Golbat with Flare Blitz. Cyrus is next, and dear me, this is going to suck really badly. I'm right. Honchkrow goes down to a single Flare Blitz, and next is Gyarados. I land a Hidden Power for about a 6 of its health, and then it one-hits me with Aqua Tail. Second attempt ends the same way, only I don't even knock Honchkrow out. I return it, and it lands Night Slash before I try to finish it off with Ember, and he heals it with a Super Potion. Before a second Ember can finish it, he brings in Gyarados, and Ember and Flare Blitz do minimal damage before it lamps me with Aqua Tail to take me down. The third attempt, I do get lucky on Gyarados as it goes for Giga Impact rather than Aqua Tail. Even with him healing it, I manage to knock it out with Return. And then comes Weavile. I've got less than a third of my health left and it's a gamble. Ember probably won't knock it out. Flare Blitz might knock me out too. So I go for Return. It survives and it knocks me out with Night Slash. That was about ironic. Let's try this again. I might have to get more levels. I try again, this time with new tactics. I go with Sunny Day and Solar Beam, replacing Ember and Hidden Power. I might need that boost. Plus, there is no benefit to using Sunny Day. Water attacks will be weakened. Honchkrow goes down to a Sunny Day boosted Flare Blitz, landing Steel Wing in exchange. Not a good choice. I land a Solar Beam on Gyarados, doing a little under half its health as it goes for Ice Fang for some reason. Cyrus uses a Super Potion to heal it. A second Solar Beam crits and leaves it weak before Return finishes it off. Weavile goes down to Flare Blitz, and Crobat survives Flare Blitz, landing Bite. It doesn't do much good. A second Flare Blitz finishes it off. On to Sunyshore City then in the last gym. Mary is at level 70 for this fight. I immediately start with Sunny Day because I know what Volkner's second Pokemon will likely be. He starts with Raichu. As Sunny Day comes up, he lands Brick Break before I knock it out with Flare Blitz. Octillery gets one hit with Solar Beam before Luxray is next, and it gets knocked out by a sun-powered Flare Blitz. Finally is Ambipom, and he gets taken out in the same fashion. Flare Blitz, FTW, 8 badges down. Next is the Pokemon League then, but before anything else, Rod decides to show up for another fight, and it doesn't go well. I throw up Sunny Day versus Staraptor and get smacked with close combat. Because his defence has dropped, I go for return to try and knock it out, and that doesn't go to plan. It survives and lands Aerial Ace. Empoleon is two-shot with Solar Beam, landing Shadow Claw in retaliation. The second Solar Beam was a crit. Otherwise, it could have gotten nasty. Snorlax tanks a return and then lands Earthquake, which finishes off Mary. Not good. I put another level on and try again. Mary is at level 77 this time. I use Sunny Day and Flare Blitz again, this time knocking out Staraptor and Empoleon with the move before coming up short against Snorlax once more. This time I accidentally hit Flare Blitz on it rather than return and nearly one-hit it from full health. Because the recoil damage is equivalent to the damage output, it overwhelms what little health Mary has left and knocks her out. That Intimidate at the start is brutal. I try again at level 81, same strategy with Sunny Day, Staraptor and Empoleon down to Flare Blitz. I nearly knock Snorlax out, one return puts it just above half health, it lands Earthquake and I survive narrowly before another return puts it into red health and he finishes me with Crunch. Mind you, the only reason I nearly got away with that was Staraptor using Steel Wing rather than Close Combat, Aerial Ace or whatever its other move is, otherwise that Earthquake would have done for me. I keep levelling, I need to be able to two-hit Snorlax, and if I can't beat Rod, then I don't have much chance against the Elite Four. I get to level 84 and try again. I've probably done a lot of damage to the ecosystem in Victory Road, leaving a lot of fainted Machoke's, Medichams, Golbats and Steelix in there. The net result of that is that I imagine the Gravelers that I've been leaving alone are probably feeling really cocky. That'll probably be an issue in a while for the people of Sinnoh, but not my problem. Anyway, Staraptor, Sunny Day, hit by Steel Wing, bang, Flare Blitz. Empoleon, bam, Flare Blitz. Snorlax, return for just above half its health and it hits Crunch. With one turn of sun left, I crack it with Flare Blitz and it goes down. Next is Heracross and I Flare Blitz it to death, landing on 2 HP but I get a little back thanks to the Shell Bell. Next is Rapidash and Mary lays out her evolved form with a crit return. Last is Roserade, and I don't want to gamble on Flare Blitz, so I land return instead. It narrowly survives and goes for Grass Whistle. My heart is in my mouth, but it misses, and a second return lays out Roserade. Phew, that was too much. At level 84, before the Elite Four, our stats are mixed. Best is speed at 215, so we'll probably hit first on every fight. HP is 192, attack is 180, special defense is 155, special attack is 127, and defense is 105, so we're potentially in trouble if we take any physical blows. Anyone want to guess if I can do this or not? Bertha might be trouble, but I think we've got enough to get around her, and we'll see about the rest of them. I've got the TM for double team just in case I have to resort to it. I learned the lesson from the last time I did this game with Glameow. Aaron isn't too bad. Dustox goes down to Flare Blitz. I hit Vespiquen with the same move and floor it. Heracross comes out and I use the same move to defeat it. When Drapion comes out, I alter tactics and start hammering it with return attacks, 3 of them to be precise, before it goes down. I take a Cross Poison and an Ice Fang in retaliation, but none of them are debilitating. Last is Beautifly and it goes down to a single return. Now is likely the hard one. I heal up and tackle Bertha. She's incredibly annoying. She starts with Quagsire and I get Sunny Day up. She goes for double team and Solar Beam misses before she goes for dig, which wastes a turn. When I finally hit it with Solar Beam, she brings Sudowoodo out, who also gets one hit by the move. As Golem comes out, Sunny Day fades and so I put it back up. At which point, she goes for Sandstorm. Cheers! I put Sunny Day back up and then get hit by Gyro Ball before Solar Beam puts Golem down. Whiscash goes down the same way before Hippowdon comes out and Sandstream clears away the sun. I decide to hit and hope. I go for Flare Blitz and it survives before using Curse. I throw Sunny Day back up hoping that it's going to spam Curse. I don't get any luck as it finishes Mary off with Crunch. Second attempt does go a lot better. I try for a return on Quagsire and it uses Protect. I go for Sunny Day and it fails with Protect for a second time. Third move, Solar Beam knocks it out. Then comes Sudowoodo and it gets laid out by Solar Beam. Then it's Golem and Solar Beam! Then Whiscash comes out and Solar Beam! Finally, Hippowdon comes out and I throw the sun back up. It uses Crunch and lowers my defence before I hit it with Solar Beam. It actually survives and lands another Crunch. Bertha makes a bold statement about not assuming that I've won before a second Solar Beam blasts it to Kingdom Come. Let's move on. Third is Fire Trainer Flint. This will be about picking the right moves at the right time. If he wants to use fire attacks on me, I'd appreciate it hugely. No such luck. Rapidash is first and I hit it with return before it springs into the air. I throw up the sun, not wanting to waste a turn, and thankfully we're not paralysed by bounce. I finish it with return. Steelix is next and I take it out with Flare Blitz. Infernape is next and I hammer it with return. It survives and strikes back with Earthquake, which takes us out. Drat. Okay, I guess we need to be a higher level. Also, if I want to Flare Blitz's Drifblim, and it is my only real viable option to attack it, I need a lot of health to do so, for the same reason I had versus Rod's Snorlax earlier. Massive HP and a lot of recoil damage. I get a few more levels and get back to Flint, trying him at level 89. You'll never guess how this fight ended. So I tag Rapidash with return, it survives and he throws up Sunny Day. Flint heals it. I tag it again and go to finish it with return before he withdraws it for Steelix. Steelix takes the return that would have ended Rapidash before I take said Steelix down with Flare Blitz. Infernape comes out next. I decide to hit it with a Sunny Day powered Flare Blitz to see what sort of damage it causes, and it tags me with Mach Punch for decent damage. Flare Blitz nearly knocks it out with one hit, and I finish it with return. Rapidash comes back out next and I finish it with return. Next is Lopunny, who I do decent damage to. And then it uses Charm. That stops me from finishing it with return. With my attack weakened, especially after it uses Charm again, I do decent damage to it with Solar Beam before eventually knocking it out with a final return. About the only saving grace was that it did try Fire Punch on us. Last is Drifblim. I hit it with Flare Blitz for about 2/3 of its health, it double teams us, and I finish it with Flare Blitz. I survive the recoil damage, and Aftermath finishes us off for the draw. Unfortunately though, it's still classed as a defeat. I make a third attempt at level 94. I have 5 rare candies, so if I don't do it here, I'm going to go for broke and max out my level. I don't think I'll have too much of an issue against Lucian last, but I've got Flint to beat yet. Ideally, I need to be able to one-hit all of his team and still have enough health left over to survive Drifblim's Aftermath, as well as the recoil from Flare Blitz. Rapidash is first and narrowly survives return, though Flint makes the bold choice to charge up Solar Beam. A second return finishes it. Next is Steelix, who gets laid out by a single Flare Blitz. Infernape tanks return, then does a quick double strike, first with Thunder Punch and then with Mach Punch, which does decent damage, but it could have been a lot worse before a second return takes down Infernape. Lopunny gets hit with return and then decides to throw up Sunny Day before a second return takes it down. Last is Drifblim, and I hit it from slightly below 2/3 health with a Sun Charge Flare Blitz. It KOs it, and the Aftermath leaves me on 2 hit points. Oh my word, 3 down. Last is Psychic Trainer Lucian, and like I said previously, I can't see this being a problem. We hit hard, and one notable exception on his team aside, it is pretty frail. Mr. Mime gets 1 hit by return. Bronzong is out next, and that was a notable exception. I call for Flare Blitz, and just for a moment, I wonder if it'll survive the move. It doesn't. I use Flare Blitz on Girafarig to knock it out before finishing Alakazam with a single return. Finally is Medicham, and I make my first error of the fight, going for return. It survives and lands Thunder Punch. Sensing a heal, I call for Flare Blitz, and the full restore has no longer settled on its skin before it's being seared off by 30 kilos of Flaming Horse. That's the Elite 4 done. I'm level 95, and I figure I might as well do this. I pop an Elixir, use my 5 rare candies to max off my levels, and head off to face Cynthia, because I'm probably going to need to wring every last little bit of performance out of Mary. Stats at level 100 are as follows: 227 HP, 214 attack, 125 defense, 151 special attack, 183 special defense, 256 speed. So I'm worried about what Garchomp might do to us if it survives our hits, which is likely. I doubt Solar Beam will be enough to one-hit my Lotic either, but we'll have to see. I immediately throw the Sun up against Cynthia. Spiritomb tries a Silver Wind that does literally slightly over nothing before I take it out with Flare Blitz. Next is Gastrodon, who I blast with Solar Beam for a 1-hit. Next is Milotic, and my earlier prediction was right. It does survive Solar Beam before using Aqua Ring. That was fortunate, I figure, as I finish it with Solar Beam, number 2. Next is Garchomp. I hit it with return for decent damage. However, it one-hits me from full health with Earthquake, which isn't ideal. I try again instantly. The first part of the fight plays out in similar fashion. Sunny Day versus Spiritomb. It uses Dark Pulse rather than Silver Wind, but it still does relatively minimal damage thanks to our decent special defense. I take it out with Flare Blitz. Gastrodon goes down to Solar Beam. The Milotic fight is shot for shot the same. Solar Beam, Aqua Ring, Solar Beam. Versus Garchomp is where it changes. I hit it with return, it does just below half its health. It then uses Giga Impact rather than Earthquake. The move is powerful, but it's preferable to being hit with a stab super effective Earthquake from a high attack power pseudo legendary. We survive, hit it with another return, which is basically a free hit as it eats the citrus berry. That takes it out of healing range, and we finish it with a third return. Next is Lucario, and if it goes for extreme speed, we might have a problem. It doesn't. We hit it with Flare Blitz for the knockout. Last is Roserade, and we've got just under half our health left, so I'm not worried about knocking Mary out through recoil damage. Flare Blitz crushes Roserade, and just like that, we're the champion. Interesting run. The final rival fight was brutal. Bertha and Flint were tricky in patches, but the Cynthia fight definitely wasn't as bad as I figured. So yeah, fun one I'd say, using a Pokemon I've never really used before, or at least not for a very long time. I think I did use a Ponyta / Rapidash the first time I played Diamond 15 years ago, at least only until a better option as a fire type came along, or at least I figured at the time. Have a guess how that one turned out. I started with Turtwig on that run, just in case you were wondering. Funny how I remember that all these years later. Next Pokemon challenge could be a brutal one, as I see if I can beat Pokemon Silver with a single Togepi. We'll see how that one goes. I hope you've enjoyed this, and as always, if you've got any suggestions for challenges that you'd like to see, you can post them in the comments section below, or on my Twitter page, @WansonG. The like button, the subscribe button, and aforementioned comment section await you. So yeah, we're just about out of time here, so this has been Once and Future Gamer, thanking you for joining me on this challenge. Have a great day now. See you next time.